to having one of the greatest of all time already at 30 years old. How the hell do you do that shit? How do you go, tell me, how the hell do you go to working as a plumber, not even a plumber yet, 12 hours a day? Tell us about those early days to who you are today, where you're one of the most, I just saw the other day, I think you're the fifth most recognized athlete on earth at 30 years old.
They must have miscounted. I'd say I'm number one in athletes, personally. Number 5's not me. I'm number 1. It's been just what got me to where I am and where I continue to go and where I will continue to go is an insane work ethic.
Yes.
And it's an insane work ethic that you can only put in that amount of work if you were doing something that you are passionate about. And that's what I have engaged my entire life's work in, things that I am passionate about. Yes. You cannot fully commit to something if you are not passionate about it. So you must look at your surroundings, at the things you are involved in, and ask yourself, are you truly passionate about these things? Do you truly want to put every ounce of your being into these things? And I am blessed, truly blessed by something. I am not sure what it is, but I am blessed that I was able to find my passion, the fight game, the whiskey game, the fashion game, the fitness game.
Yes.
These are my true passions, and I am going down these avenues that these avenues that the fight game has opened up for me. I'm going down them at 100 mile an hour with no brakes and full confidence in what lies ahead, and great things are happening. Yes. So I'm very, very blessed and very motivated still. I'm, like you said, I'm only 30 years of age, Tony. I have gone through times in my young career of lapses in motivation and seeking that energy, but coming into a place like this and receiving an invite from yourself, a powerful man. You are a powerful man. We are all powerful people here, but you use your power not to boss. Like I have been thinking, we should use our power to lead,
yes,
never to boss. And that's what I'm trying to do with my people around, to lead and grow and let's see what the next 30 years will bring, because I've no doubt it will be more amazing historical things.
I'm sure. Wow. Where did the hell does this confidence come from? I mean, tell us about the earliest days. There had to be a time when you didn't have it. And where did it shift? Because I know you, like me, like so many people have taught, you have a process of visualizing and conditioning the mind and training yourself. But tell us what it was like in the early days growing up. What was your life like?
Tony, I'm not supposed to be here. Where I come from, it's it's on my whiskey proper number 12. I come from a place, Dublin 12. It is a hard-working town, a small little suburb, It has its good and it has plenty of bad, but I always like to focus on the good because the good shines through. But where I come from, we're not supposed to climb to these heights. We're told that. It's instilled in us. And I wanted to break that mold and pave the way, open up paths. And that's what I'm doing, and I'm happy and honored for it. And
when did it shift for you, though? Were you always like that? Or was there a stage when you started to say, I'm going to create my fucking life? I mean, when we're going to be a plumber, I'm sure, like I've heard you were working 12-hour days, like driving 2 hours one way. Tell us about those humble beginnings that gives, because everybody knows what you're like today, and then how'd you make that transition, brother?
Like driving on them towards them building sites, and I'm just a young kid. I'm a first-year apprentice plumber on a building site. They're the guy that goes to make the tea. They're the guy that goes and gets the copper pipes from the storehouse and carries it up. It's the hard work that's not respected and not admired or not. So I was on them building sites, cold and damp, and I was like looking around at the fully qualified people on the site and their postures not right, and that was not me. I knew I could do something better. I knew I had something in me. I just wasn't sure even what it was. Obviously I was training for the fight game, but no one in Ireland had made it in the fight game. The fight game, an Irishman in the UFC was literally, and I mean literally, laughed at. We were laughed at. I was laughed at when I said we were going to get to the UFC. Myself and my team were going to get to the UFC. Never mind get a win. Never mind even get a win in the UFC. Then win a belt. Then win the second belt. I've continually climbed. But I've just used all that fuel that I'm not supposed to do it, but I'm going to do it. And I'm going to outwork everyone that says I cannot do it. And that's what I did. And that's how I rose up. And long may it continue.
Yes, may it. Let's give him a hand for that.
Thank you.
That was your formula for creating? Like, how do you create this shit? How did you do it? Because you were telling people we showed a little video of you when you were just a young kid. This is what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to be.
You know, yeah, a young boy, my oldest sister. You know, my family is a great family. I have a loving family. My mother, my father, my two sisters. But my lineage, the McGregor lineage, we are bled on the battlefield. You can trace my lineage back to the Highlands where we fought invaders off of our land with our family sword, the Claymore. I saw the sword in your office just earlier, and I was wondering where that sword was from. I have my family sword. It's a Claymore. It's wrapped in sheepskin, and I have it hanging on the banisters of my stairs just to remind me of where I come from and who I am. We are warriors. We are fighters. So my sister, when I was a young kid at around 15 years of age, unsure where I was going, came to me with a book, The Secret, and preaching the law of attraction. Yep. And I was like, stop, get away from me. I'm only a young kid. I didn't care about that. I wanted to just go out and play. You know, I wasn't interested. I was almost laughing at it. But then she kept on me with it, and I eventually watched a movie on it and read some books on it. And then it started to resonate with me, like, to keep positive and have belief in where you're going, and you're able to, you can almost visually create your entire world. No, not almost, you actually can.
Yes.
You can. And then I was like, I'm going to do that, and I will do that. And then that's when I began to practice it. I practice it. We used to drive, my girlfriend, we used to drive to a food place in like a shopping mall in Ireland, and it was a very busy shopping mall. And I would practice like little parts of it. Like when we were driving into the shopping mall, the car park, I would always visualize that the car park space right at the front door would be empty for me, waiting for us to pull up. Yeah. And sometimes I'd get it and sometimes I wouldn't get it. You know, but when I got it, I'd celebrate it like I just won my double world title. You know, and I kept building on that, and I got better at it, and I became so damn good at it that I was able to go into bouts against undefeated fighters for not defeated for over 10 years, or, you know, people with insane fighting legacies, and I was able to go in front of the world and tell the world, I'm going to knock this man out with this exact shot at this exact time, and I done it back to back to back. And
so you'd visualize it,
I visualize
it, you feel it, you tell everybody.
I tell everyone. I think that's a very important thing. It's easy for us to keep it all in, but you're not on
the line then.
All in is a term I like to use in my ventures. All in. We've got to be all in on our ventures. Yeah. I am all in on my whiskey. I'm all in on my clothing, my fitness regime, the McGregor Fast program. I am all in on the fight game. I just want my worth. You know, there's a lot of politics in the game. The fight game is full of sharks, but I'm the fucking whale. So I want what's mine, and that's what I'm going to get what I deserve.
You said you originally wanted to be in soccer, I heard, but even then you visualized, I understand.
Well, again, yes. See, I was visualizing before I even knew about it. Obviously, soccer is huge in Ireland and the UK, and it was my first love, most certainly. I used to sneak out of the house late at night, and there used to be a little grass patch by my home, and I'd take the football out and play on the grass patch on my own, and I would kick the ball against the wall. And when I kicked the ball against the wall, I would imagine it was a goal, the goal net, and I scored a goal, and I would run off. And I would visualize a screaming arena cheering me on. And they were my first visions of selling out arenas and you know, and doing these type of things. Although it didn't end up in the football game, I ended up in a similar one. So it all worked out, and it was all true visualization. So I was just like young kid with a dream. You know what I mean? And sometimes my dreams change, but it was still a kid with a dream and a belief in himself. And for many times I was laughed at and not believed in, but you know what? Nothing external can defeat the internal. The only thing that can take someone down or break you down is internal. Nothing external is strong enough. It's just about making sure your internal dialogue and your internal belief in yourself is strong enough that it can withstand the external. The external is there. You've got to accept it. You've got to embrace it. You've got to understand it and be aware of it. But don't let it seep into your internal dialogue. And I am, as a 30-year-old man, I don't know it all. I'm up and down and growing with this. I'm trying to continue to learn. It's a daily occurrence. Not to let that external infiltrate my internal. And that's what I'm trying to do right now, because I have let it infiltrate it at times.
How do you do that? How do you keep it out? What do you do?
I think, it's a daily thing for me. I like constant internal.
Do you have a set of rituals at all?
I'm figuring out my rituals. only recently, only yesterday, I was like, every time I wake now, I put on a song. I start every day with a dance.
That's awesome.
And feel myself. Who
Yes.
am I?
Yes.
I know who I am. I am an Irish animal, a proper Irish animal. My career is a career of never been done before. No Irish man has done what I have done. I opened up pathways for my people. We came steaming through the door thanks to my belief and my hard work. So that's.
Yeah, people said you couldn't master the game with your own people in Ireland. You had to come to America, but you took your own team and you've been loyal to your team.
You know what I done?
Lots of guys
I brought the game to Ireland. I said I would drag the
That's
promotion back. I put my people on. I put my nation on the map. Although we are known as the Fighting Irish, in boxing terms, we have a rich history in boxing, but not in mixed martial arts. True fighting, a full fight. We had zero history, zero impact. We were almost looked down upon. The UK scene had risen up. There was many stars. Of course, the Brazilians, they invented the sport, Vale Tudo, no holds barred fighting. Then the Americans took it, franchised it into the UFC, and built it up to what it was.
Yeah.
So the Americans and the Brazilians dominated the sport, and then the UK was rising up, and the Irish were just the Irish. Yes. But I knew
more.
different. No more. Exactly.
Give
exactly.
it up for 'em. That's
now,
awesome, man.
now my nation's flag is on the UFC belt. They released a new belt because what they do is they're a crafty bunch, the UFC, and I have so much respect for the. I love the company. I love all the people involved. But anytime I dip away, they try and reignite my interest and get me back in there. What they done was I won the 2 belts. The first 2 ever done it. The first 2 ever, and still the only 2 ever do it unified.
Yes.
There's been interim double champions, but that's not unified double champions. I'm the only unified.
Champ.
The champ, exactly, the OG champ. But what they done was they got rid of those old belts and they created this new belt and they put my flag on the new belt. So they're playing games with me, but I'm playing games back. So we'll see what happens.
Well, Dana's a good friend. He's actually spoken for our group too. So,
but I'm in shape. My body is sore from work.
I know, you
know
look
what I mean?
like you're ready to go rip somebody open.
I have my nutritionist with me. I have my doctor with me. I have my people with me. I am blessed to be able to do that. You know, for so long, like in my mid to late 20s, when I started to acquire wealth and acquire money, I was fascinated with materialistic things. I would buy myself cars, watches. I know I'm speaking about that, a big diamond watch on my bezel. This was actually a gift, but I switched off of that now. It's like I realized I was spending things on material items and not things on myself, on my being, on my fitness, on my health. Yeah. I've switched that completely. Like I said, my nutritionist travels with me full time. My doctors, my training partners, my coaches. Yeah. I have a full team, and it's all for health, fitness, and peak performance. We've got to be in shape. I think a trait of the successful is to train early, wake up and train early. You've got to be successful, or you've got to be in shape. Yes. To be, you've got to be in shape physically to be in shape mentally. Yes. They go hand in hand. Yes. So I'm putting a lot more time into that, and I actually realized that first when I read it on LeBron James. He spent $1.5 million a year annually on himself. Physical therapist, masseuse, nutritionist, trainers, oxygen. All of that. And you know what? When I seen that, I said, I spent zero. I spent zero. I just, when a camp forms, when a fight forms, I'll gather a team of people. We go into the Vegas desert, lock ourselves away for 10 weeks and do insanity work. If I'm training back at home during camp, I have fighters locked in a hotel room waiting on call to be called and to come and fight me. Yeah. It's an insane game, but it's not all in again. I'll go back to that term. It's halfway in. And then you can't be that way, and you certainly cannot be that way in the fight game, but in reality, you can't be that way in any game you're in. If you're in a game, make sure you're in it all the way, all in with it, and then that game will be your game, and that's where I am right now. And I've only kind of taken this philosophy recently. Like I said, I've had dips, lacks of motivation, dips in commitment, and I'm figuring it all out, and I'm feeling good in a great place, and this meeting and this invitation, and this is just, because I'm seeking inspiration. I'm always looking for inspiration, looking to learn, looking to grow. And honestly, thank you for this, and I'm grateful for this. And I look forward to continuing this chat. This is our first time here.
Me too.
I love your hat. The look at the Irish. You know what I mean? It's a good hat. Fair play to you, man. But honestly, thank you so. Appreciate it.
You are like, you're yourself completely. But if there's any athlete we could relate you to, it's probably Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Did he have an influence? I had the privilege of getting to know him a bit. He was just unbelievable.
Wow. I saw the book you have in the little...
downstairs.
In the submarine. Yes. What a place, man. Big respect, Tony, man. Honestly, I know we're interviewing me, but I want to interview you as well. Like, your story is insane. Like,
Thank you, brother.
It's crazy how you've risen up, and it's through that positive mind frame,
Yes,
through that
it's the same thing.
through that conviction.
That's right.
Commitment and
Passion,
conviction and
total
passion
conviction.
and big respect to you.
One of the things I love about you, brother, is number one, like admitting that you've been off your game at times. Like some people just fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
So you talk with such
Yeah.
authority
Yeah.
that some people assume you just bullshit.
Yeah.
But you don't.
Yeah.
Tell me about trash talk. Tell me how you intimidated people, and tell me about, was Ali an influence for you?
Yes, of course. Ali was one of my first heroes in combat sport.
yeah.
I watched documentaries on him. I read books on him.
Yeah.
Even before here's a funny thing, even before I actually boxed. I've been boxing and fighting my whole life. But even before I engaged in combat sport, I was interested in like the wrestling side of things, which is a lot more show.
Yeah.
And then obviously Muhammad Ali was a different animal because he was doing it for real.
Yeah.
Wrestling's not really for real. It's
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Muhammad Ali was doing it for real, and he was captivating the audience. He was entertaining, and he had passion and conviction. And I was just a young kid watching this. And then what got me into combat sport originally was as I grew older and began venturing outside my home and outside my estate. Again, like I said, Dublin 12, it's a wild out town. You've got to be able to fight. You've got to be able to defend yourself. So when I ventured out, conflict began happening, and I wanted to be prepared for that and be able for that and confident in any situation.
What age did that start happening?
Man,
for you?
this is like early teens. Like 11, 12.
Were you a tough kid to start with, or did you become a tough kid?
No, you know, I was...
Like, I heard your dad say you came out with
Yeah, I came out with my fist, but I was tough. But I needed to enter combat. Yes,
Yeah.
That's false toughness. The tough guy does not last in the real
bullshit.
game. You know what I mean? That's false. I look
Yeah.
at the tough guys back then.
Yeah.
Where are they now?
Yeah.
They're not tough no more.
Yeah.
They ain't tough in their mother's box room. You know what I'm saying? So, I was not necessarily a tough grown up, but I was a hard worker, and I was you know what? I was smart. That's what I was. And wits beat toughness any day of the week.
That's
and
awesome.
Twice on Sunday. So I knew what I needed to do. I needed to learn combat sport. I needed to learn martial arts, gain confidence in surroundings, and then rise up. And that's what I done.
And your psychological warfare, where you torture these motherfuckers. Tell me about that. Did that evolve? Was that a marketing piece for you too, or does it really feel like you penetrate their mind and fuck with them? What is your mindset about?
No,
trash
I
talking?
simply, coming up, I look at. It's not trash talk to me, although it has in a way become that.
What is it really for you?
I look at the opponent. I look. Know yourself to know others. That's a Bruce Lee quote. If you truly know yourself, you can know others. So I know what way I feel. I know what way that man feels. I know what I can say to push his buttons. I know what he's thinking. I know what he's afraid of. I know his worries, and I put them under the spotlight. I put them out there.
Yeah.
I get them thinking about it.
Yes.
I made a Jose Aldo an undefeated champion.
Yes.
The first UFC featherweight champion.
I remember.
He was 28 years of age at the time. I made him feel like he was an old man. But he was 28 years of age. I went in, I told him what shot I was going to knock him out, and I knocked him out with that shot. So
how much of the fight game is psychological? How much of it is physical?
It's all psychological, to be honest. You've got to be able to control your breathing and control your emotions in there. Again, like I said, sometimes I've been up and down on it.
Sure, of course.
Sometimes I've riled up too much to it, and I'm only young, Tony. I'm still learning the game.
Yeah.
And I don't claim to know it all. But what I do know, I know it damn well, and I'm continuing to learn and continuing to push on. And that's where I'm at now, so.
Tell us some moments. When did you, say, holy fuck, this, what I visualize has become real? Like, in my own life, I know there have been certain moments, right? Give me a couple moments if I could just...
Right fucking now. Right now, Tony. Oh, my Lord.
But
right now, I'm out your back garden. We're in this big, what's this, like a big marquee, a big beach at the back. This is something else. Nice cream carpet on the floor. I'm in a nice pink August McGregor. It's my own line. I know David August, my business partner, has been dressing you for 30 years.
25.
25. He said 30. We'll say 24. That's insane. 25 years. Myself and David, now fashion is a big, I enjoy good clothes. I always think to myself, was
that something you had as a kid, or did you develop that later on? Oh, you did?
Exactly. Again, Dublin 12, we are known to dress well. You know what I mean? We might not have the best money or the best, we can't afford a lot of things, but we always would dress well, and we'd always be clean, and we were proud of that. My people were proud of that.
Yeah.
And I always think back to where my want for money came. What made me interested in money? My original, how did my love for money begin? What made me want to acquire that?
Yes.
And when I think about it, I wanted to acquire money so I could buy clean, fresh runners, runners, sneakers.
Wow.
We call them runners back home.
Yeah, sure.
But that's where it began. So fashion was always instilled in me, and I always thought when I'm able to get up and make some money, I'm gonna splash out and buy the finest silks and the finest materials and wear them proudly. And I met David a couple of years ago. And, the partnership has been amazing. We've linked together now. We have our own line, the August McGregor line. We're on our second drop now, and it's grown really nicely.
Yes.
This is an August McGregor line.
Well, I thought
you know yourself.
The suits and jackets.
I was in your wardrobe as well, just checking it out. We've got you covered if you want, Tony. You know that.
I'll tell you a funny story about David. I remember years ago I lived in Del Mar, California. I owned the Del Mar Castle. It was this castle built in places in Europe. And we had a fire, and the house burned down.
Right.
And David's been selling me clothing for like 10 years. And he was always replacing it, as you well know. Right? But literally, we burned up like $400,000 worth of clothing. And David comes and he goes, I'm so sorry. You got to replace it all with insurance.
You can't knock the hustle, right?
That's right.
It worked out anyway.
But tell me in the fight game, when were the moments in the fight game where you're like, holy shit, man, what I visualize is real? Like, there had to be a couple moments that were the most important to you.
The most important one for me, the most significant moment in my career was when I first tasted UFC gold. It was at UFC 189 in Las Vegas. I was supposed to face the current champion, Jose Aldo, but he pulled out 9 days before the bout with a broken rib. Someone threw a spinning back kick on him and broke his rib. It was more like a bruised rib 2.5 weeks before. For my last fight, I threw a front kick at a shooting Moldovan wrestler. So a shooting wrestler is a guy who's shooting in on your legs.
Yeah.
And when he shot and I threw the front kick, I threw it at his belly, and my two toes, the baby toe and the toe next to it, bent back like this and stuck in that position. My doctor, who's here with me now, had to come into the cage, stretch it, and break it back into place. My foot swelled like a balloon. That was 2.5 weeks before the last
fight.
I wanted to compete, and I wanted to get in there. One of the things I'm blessed with, I have many shots in my arsenal. I have many moves. I can box. I can kick.
Yeah.
I have many different weapons in my arsenal. So that's a blessing and a curse. A blessing for the obvious. I can throw many moves. I can stifle an opponent. A curse because if I face a serious injury where I probably should have just settled it out and reset the match to a later date.
But your hunger made you go for it.
My hunger and my knowledge also that if I have one shot that's one limb that's gone, I have another 7 limbs. The art of 8 limbs this is. So I can utilize other strikes in my arsenal.
Yeah. Tell me about the last fight with Khabib, because I'm curious, were you prepared for that approach? Were you able to fight your fight? Tell me what you thought was different about that fight. I was there, by the way.
Yes.
He literally jumped right in front of us.
Yes.
Literally a foot in front of me.
Well, at the end of the day, I landed the final blow of the night right on his brother's eye socket. So at the end of the day, although the match didn't go my way, the fight went my way. And trust me when I tell you, Tony, this war is not over. If this fight does not happen again, if it does not get reset, it's on them. They're running away. I'm here for the fight and here for the rematch. I know the errors. I know, like I said, the lapses in commitment that I've had in that bout. I know my mindset. There was a lot of external things. Obviously, the injury. The injury itself led me to I had to half my work. I couldn't road run anymore.
So you weren't as fully prepared.
I wasn't. My weight was too high. So when you're cutting weight, if I can't get my weight down because of injuries or whatnot, I have a more intense weight cut. So I was severely dehydrated. I didn't sleep for 48 hours before the weight cut.
Wow.
But these are all just nonsensical excuses that I don't give a fuck about. I don't give a shit.
I know.
That's why I walked in there, hands down, ding, 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 and walked forward to him. And he went running away around the cage.
Yeah.
He got lucky with that overhand right, dropped me. Well, didn't really drop me. I landed on the hand, but I kept my vision. My vision was clear.
Yeah.
Backed away, jumped up, landed shots back. And then we engaged in a fist fight, and he took me down again. After landing such a significant shot, let's fight now. Instead, he was afraid and grabs a hold of the leg. But my whole approach in that camp, the injuries, the non-commitment.
Were you trying to...
the game plan, the tactics, I attack. I am an attacker.
Yes.
And my attack defends. But in this camp, for some reason, the entire focus was defense.
That's what I heard.
So I was like, every round we would start in the training, I would have my back against the fence. I would have my back on the floor. And I would always put myself in a vulnerable position. And I became, throughout, as the camp went on, I just became defensive. But that's never been what I do. It's like, what? Like, it irritates me to this day because, the training partners that I trained with heavy people, 90 plus kilos. Like I told you, that Moldovan wrestler I broke my foot is like a horse.
Yes.
He's literally like a fucking human horse.
Yes.
And then I've got another an American Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion that trains with me. He was like 200 pounds.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're big boys. But I was always on the defensive with them. And since the fight, I've gone back to train with them and went with my internal dialogue, not the external dialogue. The dialogue of, I can't grapple with this man because he's a Russian Sambo guy and he's wrestled bears since he's a kid and all this bullshit. That's external. I let the external infiltrate my internal, and it filtered into the fight. But after the bout, I went back and trained with these people and attacked, and I mauled them. So I'm just here waiting to continue to go and see where we can get with this situation with the UFC, and see, can we get this fight again, and let's go again. And that's where my...
So because you wrote the other day on Twitter, it was a couple days ago that you were retiring, and so bottom line is you're retiring unless they give you your terms. Is that what it is?
Yes, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Like
fair
that.
is fair.
And you can do that. You're enough of a brand to do it, brother. You're also fucking strategic. Tell us how you made the deal to fight Money Mayweather. I mean, here's, you were taunting his ass. How'd you pull that off? And tell me what your thinking was about it to start with. Why'd you want to do it? What was your mindset? You made, $85 million in a fight?
Well, give or take. We'll add a little few more on that, but give or take. Look, the competitive aspect of it. A new sport. The greatest of all time under that rule set. Again, more external doubt. I love it. Give it to me. Give me all that doubt. Tell me I can't do something. Tell me I'm not gonna cross over and make that jump into a completely new sport. Not only against some random guy, but against the damn best.
Yes.
So it was just my competitive nature. Of course, the financial benefits and the notoriety was great.
Sure.
But
how did you get him to do it? Because it was your idea, right?
Well, we just continued to poke at it, it just happened, It happened naturally. I went in on his terms. I fought him under his rules. Originally, the promise was, I'll fight him his game. He fights me my game.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of him since. I haven't heard from him since. So we'll see what happens. But I would love another go in the boxing arena. We spoke briefly about it outside. Yeah. Floyd Mayweather is known for his Philly shell defensive style of fighting. He has his right arm tucked in, his left. Sorry, he's an orthodox, so it's the opposite. But he has one arm tucked in at his belly and one arm kept up by his ear. And he uses his shoulder to deflect shots. He's a back-footed fighter. He fights on the back foot. That's what I prepared for, because that's all I had seen of him. My sparring partners were fighters on the back foot, fighters defensive, leaning against the ropes. And then when I went into the fight, in the early rounds, I was whooping him in the early rounds. I went back to my corner after the first round and said, this is easy. I literally said that to my corner man, this is easy. And then he had to switch up his style. Now, you've got to respect that, because that's what a crafty veteran can do. He can switch up his style. He switched it to that old Mexican boxing style. Yeah. The Mexican boxing style is where you put your elbows in tight. The this knuckle, you put it just above the forehead and connect it and walk forward with heavy pressure. He'd never fought like that in his entire career, but he was forced to fight that way because he was getting beaten when he was fighting his old way. And the approach caught me off guard. I was not prepared for it. I was not used to it. And he walked me down and ended up getting the stoppage. The referee, I felt, could have let the fight go. I would have liked him to see the end of the round, get my breathing back, get a little bit more comfortable. But I know he's not going to come into my game, but I would love to rematch him under boxing rules again and have that knowledge and have my sparring partners come forward with that style also and see where we go. And I believe I believe I would win. Actually, there I go again with a fake humbleness. I know I would win. That's
fucking awesome. Well, it was your longest fight of your career too, right? I mean, you were in incredible shape.
Yeah, 22 minutes it was. So that was another focus on the camp to go from 5-minute rounds, which is 25 minutes, to 12 3-minute rounds, which is 36 minutes.
Yeah.
Quite a big jump.
Yeah.
So my entire camp was almost to switch my time and my energy and how to develop more stamina and to go. And, we didn't get there in the end. I had a 10-week period, and that brings me back to that All-In. And that before the Floyd fight, I was a double-weight world champion. I'd done it in the fight in mixed martial arts. I had done it. I wasn't as committed as I could have been. I didn't have my team around me. I didn't have my nutritionists, my coaches, my sparring partners. And then the fight got made. The fight was 10 weeks out. So now I had 10 weeks to adjust from 5-minute rounds to 12 3-minute rounds.
Wow.
But again, thankfully, I have my McGregor Fast program that we have. I truly believe this in this program. It has got the shape I got in that 10 weeks on that program was insane. It was phenomenal shape. And it was one of the reasons why I got to that 10th round, under that pressure and under that new experience, an experience that I had not felt before. So I'm very confident now, and my engine is keep building. As long as I keep on it and try and not slip and keep motivated. I think if your lack of commitment is almost an insult to the people who believe in you. And that's what I'm trying to tell myself. I said, there's people who believe in me. So this is what I'm telling myself right now, today. There's people that believe in me. And me having this half commitment, it's going against it.
It's not who the fuck you are.
It's not who the fuck I am. It's not what my people. It's not what the people who believe in me deserve. And I want to give back to the people who believe in me and give them that belief, and prove that belief correct. So that's where we're at now, and let's see where it goes. Let's.
I always talk about, you want to take the fucking island, you burn your boats, because if there's a way back, the mind will give you there, right? Yeah. And I heard you say sometime, and I wonder if it's true, you said, I'm willing to fucking die in that arena. Is that really your mindset?
Yes, it has to be. It has to be. I have seen a man die in this game. I was ringside. I cornered a man who killed a man. I cornered a man who killed a man on Irish soil. The only death in mixed martial arts history in Ireland. It was everywhere. And a couple of days after that, the UFC wanted me to fly all over the United States of America to promote the next bout. And I was like, I can't do this. I need to get away, and just my head needs to be in the correct spot. It's a ruthless game. You have to be willing, because you can go in there, and when you come out, you're a different person. If I could describe it to people, it's like entering a car crash. You're going into a car crash. The shins are bare. The feet are bare. You can strike with the elbows, the knees. It's a vicious game. And you've got to be fully committed, and you've got to be willing to go all the way. And that's what I am, and that's what I have been.
Literally, as a fucking gladiator.
I make correct decisions even in there, even in defeat. I know when it's if there is an out and it's time to get out. I know when to live to fight another day.
Yes.
So you have to be intelligent in there as well. Otherwise, you won't live to fight another day. Yeah. And that's what happened in my last bout. It did not go my way, but then the fight broke out afterwards. I bounced back in.
So tell us about that, because it all happened so fast. It literally happened right in front of me. What the fuck happened? So his
he jumped
brother?
He jumped the fence.
No, I know, I saw that.
He jumped the fence.
What was they jumped in and one guy was punching you? I saw him.
No. You must
trying to.
So what happened was, the fight was done. The match was done. He climbed over the fence and jumped into the crowd to make a bit of noise. But as soon as he jumped into the crowd, he cowered away. Yeah. I like to call it scurried away, because they're little rats they are. Be honest. He scurried away. And I gave my respect. Congrats, you won the match. Let's see what happens next time. I'm confident we'll get it again. Let's go again. Humble in defeat. I am humble in victory or defeat, no matter what. It's a sport at the end of the day. gruesome sport, but it's a sport. So I was defeated on the night. He jumped in and caused this chaos and went to attack, but really it was just...
What was he trying to do?
I don't know exactly. He was trying to just hide away when he jumped in, so he didn't really do anything. But I saw this take place. I got up off the ground and said, okay, now I'm back in the mix. Jumped on top of the cage. As I jumped on top of the cage, his brother came sprinting across and jumped up on top of the cage also to climb in and help him and join the fight. I seen him there. It was like a Christmas present. He was right there. I just smacked him right in the eye socket. And we started fighting on top of the cage. It got broken up. We ended up in the cage then. He was trying to get past the security, and I was just kind of watching everything. So I'm very self-defense minded. I have been through growing up, and I know where my entrances and my exits are. I'm very aware of my surroundings. So when the fight was breaking out, and I knew there was people in and out, that there was a lot of rogue people that I wasn't aware who's with him, who's with security, who's who.
Yeah.
So I backed myself up against the cage wall where I thought I was good. And what happened was two of his teammates ran and jumped over right behind me. And for me, with my mindset, it was fascinating for me to watch that back, because I got to a safe place. I was good. I got to a place where I was aware and I could see any oncoming threat and deal with it. They came right over my back. Wow. Right over my back. But one of them, the first one, a Chechen man, ran in front of me and went over to the brother that got smacked and was like, what happened? I don't know what he was saying. But then he turned back and saw me. But I'd already saw him. So as he turned back, boom, I smacked him. He wobbled. And as I smacked him and rocked him, another one jumped in from over the back. And he sly hooked me from the side.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Yeah.
And then I covered up. That got separated. And then the final one was the original brother who was on top of the cage.
Yeah.
He broke free from the security, ran at 100 miles an hour towards me. He threw a right hand. As he threw the right hand, I threw a left hand. Boom. And there's an aerial image of the right hand just whipping by my face and my left hand just landing flush down the pipe. The final blow of the night. So that's it.
So tell me something. Tell me, like, you've become this fucking amazing entrepreneur. You're an unbelievable fighter. You know how to get everybody to want to watch. You know how to play psychological warfare. You know how to win. You know how to be humble in defeat and learn and come back and kick it and nothing stops you. But tell me about the entrepreneur side. Like, where's that coming from for you? And tell us a little about your Irish whiskey, what it means to you, because I know the name itself has a deep meaning for you.
Yeah, well, my whiskey Proper 12, we have had an unprecedented launch. It has gone to exactly where I knew it would go. You know, we ran out of stock. We had a certain amount of liquid. And it was like supposed to do us for the year. I was like, that's not going to do us for the year. I had to ruffle a few feathers and make it happen, and we made it happen. But the launch itself has been unprecedented. Whiskey, Irish whiskey. You know, growing up, my grandfather would always... He was, you know, in Ireland we have master distillers and master drinkers. My grandfather was a master drinker, and he would always instill pride in me of Irish whiskey, that we as Irish men and Irish people are the world champions at creating this liquid. George Bernard Shaw said, whiskey is liquid sunshine. And I believe him. It truly, truly is. You've got to respect it though, no doubt. You've got to respect the liquid. But I came up with pride in my nation that we were the greatest whiskey makers, the world champions of whiskey. And Jameson has been the untested king of Irish whiskey until now. We've burst onto the scene. I brought new demographics with me, the young, you know, and then the old whiskey drinkers. They're trying it as well, and we're continuing to grow the brand and also grow the blend. It's currently a 4-year age liquid that we are aging in our barrels. We're going to experiment, put the liquid in different barrels. Wait till it gets to 6 years, 8 years, 12 years. You know, when I first entered the whiskey the business itself, I used to, after each fight, I used to have a tradition with Mr. Lorenzo Fertitta, the former owner of the UFC.
UFC.
We would toast a whiskey after every fight, and it became synonymous in the fight game. And at that time, I started getting approached by whiskey companies to do adverts and things like that. I was like, no, I'm going to go in onto that field with the shovel myself.
Where does that come from that you want your own whiskey company as opposed, like most guys would be having to do an endorsement?
Because
like you want
my grandfather, it was instilled in me. It was instilled in me. You know, we are the world champions. I can do this. If they can do it, I can do it. I want to learn about it and study about it. And that's it. I have acreage now where we have crops of barley. Barley is the main ingredient in my Proper 12, in my whiskey. Yeah. We take the barley and we bring it down to the distillery in Antrim. Antrim's a lovely area of Ireland, on the island of Ireland. The finest spring water, beautiful soil. It's a 77-acre plot of land. It's the oldest whiskey distillery on the land. We sourced that. Like, it was a dream to get that distillery and have that distillery create the whiskey, create it there. And we have created an amazing liquid. We are dominating Jameson in the sales category as we speak.
That's incredible.
So let's keep going, and that's it. I'm only at the beginning.
You know, most people, you know, you get so much press for Notorious, which is great. It's part of your brand. But you're a fucking giver, man. That's one of the reasons I wanted to meet you, too,
Yeah.
because I know you're the real fucking thing. And then tell people about what you do with the hospitals there. And I know I've seen the things you've done online for kids. I mean, you're like, people don't know that side of you.
Yeah. Well, like in Dublin 12, like I said, Proper 12 is the name. Dublin 12 is where I come from. The largest children's hospital in the country is in Dublin 12. So everyone in Ireland has a relationship with Dublin 12. It's only a small area, but we all have a relationship with it. So I have donated to that hospital many times. My son has visited there. I flew to New York for a dinner, and we raised close to $1 million for the hospital as well.
Wow.
You know, I spoke in front of the
Awesome.
with a crowd.
I know you've been helping the homeless there, too.
Yeah, well, I've helped the homeless charities, of course. I've also donated to the Coombe, which is the maternity hospital where my son and my daughter were born. I donated money there. The treatment they gave me, I was actually inspired by the nurses and the midwives and the work that they put in. I wanted to give back to them.
Yeah.
And we've done that. Now, currently, with my whiskey, we have a program where we're with each case sold in each district it's sold in, we give back $5 off of each case to the first responders in that district.
That's awesome. Why
It's up to 1 million.
the first responders?
You know, they're the ones that
obviously.
come. They're the ones that need backing. They're the ones that support us. You know, they're the ones that burst into buildings when we need them. When everyone's running out, they're running in. I wanted to give back. I have a history with the children's hospital and with the hospitals. I have seen it firsthand. The firemen. Like, imagine sprinting up a stairs and there's flames everywhere. You don't know nothing. What's going to happen? What's through the door? You know, these are heroic people. These are people that go through traumatic things and do it to save us and help us, and I wanted to give back, and you know what better way than with my whiskey and with my donation, and it's been phenomenal. It's been received very well, and it's a great feeling. I'm very happy and proud to do it.
It should be.
So
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about you, too, is like people look at someone who's extraordinary and they assume that it's just like a gift that shows up. And they don't realize someone being rewarded in public for the shit they've done in private over and over again. And you have incredible discipline. But I read somewhere...
Like, see, I don't even know where you heard about the homeless things, or even because I...
No, I know. That's what I was going to say about you.
You do your research. You do your research. Good man. But I've said
but
nothing
also,
about...
what I loved about you is you don't always tell people. Like, I know you went to one of the places, and the only reason anybody knows you was there is somebody you knew had their child there. And so I was like, I was touched by that. I was like, shit, you're the biggest promoter in the world. You weren't fucking promoting. You were just there to help.
Yeah.
And people don't know that about you.
Yeah, and I go home now. I'm eager to get home to my island as well, to the island of Ireland. I have many great things planned. I'm going to visit the boxing club in Dublin 12. I'm going to visit my gym in SPG Nace as well. I'm going to put on shows for the people and meet people, because I think it's easy. Look, we're all powerful people here as well. It's easy for a rich man to throw money around, and that's not... It needs to be more than that. Exactly. I need to be in the flesh, and I want to be in the flesh. I want to give back. I want to give time more than I want to give money. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's more powerful and holds more power and more
inspiration. Your presence inspires people, moves people.
That's something, again, I've learned as I'm getting older. It's just commit time. Time is more valuable than anything. Yeah.
Tell me something, though. I read a quote. I'm not paraphrasing it right, but in essence, you said it's all fucking practice. It's all discipline. Tell us, what do you think has really made you successful? Because people look at a guy like you and he goes, he's so gifted. You are gifted, but you've developed your fucking gifts. But tell us, what's the essence of what makes that success happen?
The same essence in any hard work. In any success, it's hard work.
Yeah.
That's it. Hard fucking work. You put it in, you believe in it, you will succeed. And that's it. I am living proof. If you want to look at a man who has clawed his way, fought with every ounce of his being to get to where he is, you're looking at him right here. So that's what I've done.
That's beautiful.